Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Wilderness Journey. My name is Luciano Watley, and I am here to share my life's experiences and uh, the reason why I kind of feel like I can sum up my life as a wilderness journey. I'm pretty sure there's lots of you out there who um, probably feel that way right now, that you're lost wandering through a desert, not knowing if you're going in the right way, not knowing if you'll get out, not knowing if you'll find water, the resources you need to carry on. Don't feel like you have the strength to do it anymore. Um, I'm here to share the worst and the most wonderful things I've gone through, um, which is going to be probably one of the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I've never really shared personal things with others, as it's always been hard for me to do because of the things I've gone through. But I know I have to do this. I say I have to do this because I know all the things I've gone through was not and is not for nothing. I know it wasn't coincidence, even though some of them were pretty terrible, unfair, did nothing to deserve it. Other things that I have done that caused some havoc in my life that have affected my family and those around me. Um, all these stories I will share for the purpose of helping you out there, a loved one, a friend, somebody who is wanting more out of life, that is tired, weary, on the brink of greatness or defeat. Your marriage is on the line. Could go one way or the other. Your health is on the line. The fight you put in can determine whether or not you can stay longer. Determine how the quality of your life will be if your days are numbered. Um, those who have gone through a tragic experience that has stayed on your mind, that your childhood, your innocence was taken from you. You always have it in the back of your mind. You remember it vividly. You don't know how to move forward. You try with everything in you, but it seems impossible because who would do that to an innocent kid, or to if it happened in your adulthood, whatever the situation was? I can guarantee you it was just horrific, no matter kid or not. You are surrounded by people, but you don't feel you can share it because nobody would understand, or they would think you're crazy if you shared the true things of your heart. Think you've been told to tell you, just get over it, just do this, just do that. Like it's so simple, but for you it's not, and it's very real. You have nightmares. You hear voices. You get anxious. You are sad constantly. Uh, whatever the feelings that you have, they're there for a reason. Um, I am going to share my experiences again to hopefully relate to you out there, loved one, whoever it is, to show you that you're not alone, that there's hope, there's a light, a little tiny speck of light in the midst of this darkness that surrounds you. You've tried with everything in you and you've been kicked down, got up and kicked down again. You're laying face down in the dirt right now, not knowing if you have enough in the tank to get up. And I'm here to tell you that you do have enough, that there's hope, that there is a better life for you, for your family, um, the dreams that you've had to make a difference in the world, or whatever it is that you've always just thought about day and night and wanted to get there with everything in you, but life's curveballs have told you otherwise. You can get past this where you're stuck. You don't have to stay stuck. Wherever it is you're at in life, um, you can get more out of life. You can be happy, truly happy, not just temporarily. You can find this happiness in the midst of the worst things in life you're going through. Turmoil, just heartache. You can still be happy as you go through these things. You can, I want to help you find this base, this foundation where you're built on solid ground, so that when these storms come and the winds and the rain and the hail and whatever is coming your way, that your house will not be destroyed because of the foundation it's on. It's built on solid ground. And for you, whatever it is you go through, it will not break you. You won't be shaken. One of my favorite songs says, "Through fire or pouring rain, we won't be shaken." And I say we because this channel's not just, I didn't create it for me, for my benefit. I have been having such a hard time doing this because I am doing one of the hardest things I've ever had to do, to share these personal experiences with you. But again, I know I have to do it because you're relying on me to know that you're not alone, to show you that you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. And together, want to be able to create a little community where we can help encourage and inspire one another on our worst days. We can't sleep at night. You're worried or stressed, or you're in pain. Not sure if your marriage is gonna last, if your job is on the line, your children are lost in some things in the world and don't know what's gonna happen to them. You're afraid. We're gonna help each other. We're going to together learn that despite all of the darkness and the tragedy that's going on in the world today, there is good. There's greatness still here. What you see, what you put in is what you get out. So if all we see and hear is negative, that's how we're going to feel. But together we're going to help each other find the positive in all of this negative. We're going to help each other see what another can't, because they're focused on one thing. And sometimes we need an outsider's perspective to help show us things in a different manner. And again, sometimes we feel like you can't share that with those around you. You just want to talk to someone who knows, who has been through what you've gone through. You've talked to a therapist who is fantastic, very educated, very helpful, but you only speak at the surface. Say what you think they want to hear. Try to tell of the things that are deep down, but you can't. We are going to be that for each other, to help show that someone else is out there going through what you're going through, and that you can master and conquer it. Whether you reach that goal, whether you reach that victory short time or maybe months, years from now, you can do it. And we're going to help each other do it. Again, I am going to share the deepest of my heart with you. Oh, I fear that some of you, many of you, may think I'm crazy. May stop watching this channel because, no, that doesn't happen. I'm going to share it regardless, because I know there's some out there who are thinking the same way. The route you've been on thought was going to get you there, or what you believed in, if it was God. You trusted Him so much, and then so many of these storms have weathered you, and you begin to doubt Him and think that He's forgotten you. Um, you've seen Him work in other people's lives, why not yours? Wherever you're at right now in life, however you feel today, your day can become better. And we have to do it one day at a time. Sometimes we're focused on goals months away, they don't happen, and they break us. One day at a time, one step at a time. I mean, we're gonna do this together. And again, I'm really stepping out with a big dream here to help make a difference in this dark world. Again, I've gone through so many different things that, I mean, it would almost seem like a crazy book or novel, because you wouldn't think that many things can happen to someone. And many of you are out there in the same way. Maybe one thing has happened and it's been determining the course of your life. Wherever you're at today, tomorrow is going to be a better day. Tonight's going to be a better day. You have a purpose in this life. You don't have to be defined by whatever it is you're facing. An illness. You've been rejected. Your parents, one didn't want you, both didn't want you, kicked you out to the dirt, straight abandoned you, left you in the dark. You're not an orphan. You're not alone. You're not a loser. You are not an addict. Despite how your family history has gone, you don't have to identify with that. We are going to help each other to be the best we can be, to make the best out of every day, because we only got one shot at this life. Yes, some of us experience worse things than others, but just because those may not experience such horrific things doesn't mean that they don't feel like they're lost at times. They're struggling to want to be noticed at work, or to make a difference. All of the things we all feel are absolutely real, and no less or better than the others. And we got to be there and help each other, not look down on things, not be surprised, because we're all people. We all make mistakes. No one's exempt, regardless of what their job title. Judges, pastors, police officers, everybody makes mistakes. But again, we don't have to be identified and labeled by our mistakes and let those determine the course of our life. We are going to change and find our true identity. We're going to speak life over ourselves, over our situations, over our marriage, over our kids, over our health, our job, our future. We're not going to speak death. Not going to be down on ourselves. I'm stupid, I'm an idiot. We're going to help each other get rid of that language. We're going to share life, joy, and happiness, and show that there's still greatness in this world. You may feel so small that you have accomplished nothing, that you're just existing. That's a mere mistake. Each and every one of you were born and created with a purpose for great things. Your job doesn't have to define that. You can be working as a garbage man. There's nothing wrong with that. You can do great things there. Teacher, minister, officer, city job, accounting, wherever you're at, you have a purpose and can make the world a better place wherever you're at. At times we all think that we need to be at a certain place in order to make a difference. Speaking at a pulpit with thousands of people, sold out concerts, whatever it is. that's not it. Wherever you're at, if you're at home because of your illness, can barely get out of bed some days, who's around you that you can make a difference in? You go to doctor's appointments, share a little bit of faith in what you're going through. You have the opportunity to make the world a better place wherever you're at. If you're alone, fight for your happiness. Fight to find who you are and step out and not be alone anymore. Together, we are going to help each other through this wilderness journey we call life. Going to close with one of the other reasons why I call it the wilderness journey. One of the stories in the Bible, Israelites were freed after decades, generations of slavery, through God sending Moses and him performing some great miracles and plagues that broke Pharaoh's heart to finally get him to free the slaves. That was a great miracle for their freedom. That day that great miracle happened, that they were freed and God parted the seas for them, that wasn't the end of the story. That was a great miracle, great day for them, but what they were promised, the miracle or the promised land was 40 years away. 40 years of wandering in the desert, limited resources. God would just provide daily, and they didn't get what they wished and desired for that day, months away. 40 years it took. And reason being is their minds had to be changed, their outlook, their way of life had to be changed because they were so accustomed to living, thinking, being slaves, they didn't know how to be free. Had they have gotten the promised land the next day, it wouldn't have lasted. They would have known how to cultivate it. They wouldn't have known how to lead each other to do what was needed to make this land prosperous. It would just have gone to waste in a hurry because they would have overindulged, not knowing how to make everything last, to make the best of it, to plant seeds, to grow, to harvest, and all that would have been for nothing. It took that 40 years for their minds to be changed, and our minds can be changed. We got to change our thinking, our outlook, our negativity, our doubts. You feel you're going to be healed and free, then you fight for it. Don't give up. Don't doubt. Again, that story has been such an uplifting thing in my life, and it's taught me different things upon several occasions, and that's what I want to share with all of you. Because again, our journeys, we can get there to the promised land. It may not be the way we thought, but with our eyes set on freedom and healing from whatever it is we're going through, restoration, we can get there. We have to fight to achieve it, to find our way, but we can. Together, it may not be perfect, it may be messy at times, but we can help each other find our way and bask in the glories that are waiting. But life doesn't have to be misery and have to be treacherous in the meantime. We can enjoy it. We're supposed to enjoy it. We have one life, and we need to make the best of it, regardless of what we have going on. You're in pain. Your relationship is rocky. You made a mess out of something, and lots of people, friends, family are mad at you. School, you're in high school, your grades are bad. You're having trouble picking the right friends, girlfriend, all these choices we all have from all ages, all walks of life. We have these struggles, and we're not alone. And again, together, we can do this. 'Cause even though this world today says miracles aren't of this day, we have a lot of intelligent people and some great advancements, and they're awesome. They've changed our world, and we need evidence and facts at times to prove that we can believe in something. Again, there's no equation for miracles. There's nothing to really explain it. It's just coincidence, whatever. But a video that's going to also be posted along with this one is a short clip of myself. Just a little over 2 years ago, on a night, a day after I had a surgery that was supposed to be 30 to 45 minutes, it took 6 hours. The illnesses they say I had, that I have, are rare and unknown, and again, lots of people don't know about them. So these guys were learning along the way, and it took 6 hours. They were supposed to sedate me, but the source of my pain was in my veins. So them running the catheter lines, cutting into my legs, caused me so much pain, and I couldn't sleep. I was in agony, screaming. But a great part of that day is that where my mind was, and how I thought. I have doubted along the way. There's times where I was encouraged, knowing that God is for me, that He created me for a purpose when I should have died at birth. And almost died a few times, been defibrillated. I know it's from God, but then there's other times when this pain, more blood clots, I'm in the ICU again. I doubted. Where are you, God? Why have you forgotten me? I just want to help people to know you, to find happiness, to be better. Why have you forgotten me? I've been angry with Him. And I have found my way. And again, through obedience, as I learned of the things I had to do, as I did them, did one door was open to another, and that led to that day of my surgery. I felt I had to get several things done before then, and I knew that I would be healed completely. I didn't know when, didn't know how, but I just knew it. With all of my heart, I was persuaded. And so that day of the surgery, it was terrible. Horrendous, horrific pain. I said I was screaming, but the things I was screaming was that changed the atmosphere in that room. At first, they were all a little stressed out, almost wanting to call it quits because I was in so much pain. But I said, no, we got to finish this. And the things I started screaming were words. There were words from a song I had been listening to for months. And I listened to the song so many times throughout the day because of the words it spoke. It talked about changing our lives, our minds, moving from sorrow to joy, from fear to faith. Just great words that I really spoke over myself, my family, my life, every day for months, knowing that I would be healed. And that day I was screaming those words, and towards the end, the nurses and even the radiologist, the guy that I know because I'm a VIP there now, they were all saying the words with me in honor and celebration because they knew I was different. They knew that I would be a person that would conquer it because the way I was speaking, I didn't allow that to take me down and to defeat me. Even though I almost passed out at times, I just spoke those words, and inside I just cried out to God and thanked Him for my healing, thanked Him for changing my life, thanked Him for always protecting me, even though at times it felt like He was nowhere to be found. And I left that surgery after recovery in a wheelchair because, oh my goodness, there's so much pain in my legs I couldn't even stand up. I'd almost pass out, the pain was so bad. I had to crawl to the bathroom that night, and the next day couldn't make it to church because I was in so much pain. I got a phone call. A wonderful, great mentor a wonderful man that has made a big difference in my life in so many ways, called and said, "Hey man, I know you're in pain and you just had surgery, but is there any way you can get down here tonight? I'll send some guys to go get you, bring a wheelchair. Um, I really, you got to be here. Uh, there's a pastor here speaking on healing and just freedom, things of that nature. I just feel you got to be here. Can you?" And I knew. I said, "Absolutely." And so get in the van and scream and cry a bit because it was so painful, so hard. The drive wasn't very long, but it was miserable. Get there, screaming, fussing, sweating to get in that chair and do that, and go into the back room where I was going to wait. They said there's a lot of people waiting in line, and going to be probably a couple hours. So the guy said, "All right, let's get you comfortable on the couch," and picking me up and moving me. Again, I'm screaming, shaking, trembling, almost about to pass out. Uh, Finally get in that chair. I remember one of the guys, he knew had been there to support me through things, but he didn't know that I just had surgery. And when he was helping to move, he grabbed my ankle that had cut into me, and I'd screamed. And remember another good friend of mine, Coach, as my pastor, my hometown pastor calls him, slugged him in the arm. Said, "Hey man, what are you doing?" And just so angry at him, and it wasn't funny at the time, but now I always remember that and laugh. But everybody was just stressed and just saw the pain and the just they would see hopelessness. Even though I knew I was going to get there, just people I knew, they felt sorry and just wanted to do more. And lots of people tried along the way, and I just could feel that. But again, I just knew it was coming. And a couple of minutes later, they come in and say, "Oh, he's ready for you now. We get you in." So just as I got settled, we had to get me back in that chair, screaming, sweating, yelling. They rolled me out in the wheelchair, and I was shaking and had my head down, so I didn't really look up to see the crowd. It felt like I was taking cuts. The pastor comes up and asked me a couple questions, asked what I had, so I tried explaining. Kind of a title, but not really. And as I started explaining, he would stop me and say, "No, no, no, that's not what I asked." And then so I would try explaining again and said, "Okay, stop." And just from those small few words, he gathered that. Said, I don't know exactly, I've never heard of what you have." He's like, "But something that was kind of similar." He's like, the young man, he dealt with rejection and abandonment issues. He didn't know who he was. And he's like, "I don't know if you're a complainer or how you are in your life." He's like, "But where you are right now, you have become accustomed, you speak this over your life." And that was true. Even though there's times I didn't complain, I wasn't speaking in a bad way. I was explaining what was going on, the things that were happening, was needed to be done. But because in my mind I identified as being these things, that's who I was. I believed it. Even though, again, I'm fighting to feel free, but all these years, that's what I was doing. So I was speaking it. So again, our minds, our perspective is huge in this. And so as he continues, he shared a few scriptures, which people would say coincidentally, but I know it's not coincidentally. It's miraculously, he shared a couple of scriptures that my wife and I had been studying and reading and applying to our life prior to this. And I'm going to share them with you because they're very important. I practice and think they would help many of you. One of them was talking about the power of the tongue. And the power of the tongue, there's death or life. And what you speak determines whether our lives are filled with death or life. And that hit me hard. And again, that I'd been working on that because I realized that's how I was speaking death over myself. Another was, above all else, guard your heart because it determines the course of your life. And another important one because I've been hurt so many ways that I had so many guards up and just had a lot of hurts and pain inside that I didn't protect. I love people so much and just always want to help in any way I can to make whoever it is I come across their day better, whether they're not feeling well or sad. I will do whatever I can to make that day better because it's my personal mission to not see anyone in pain in any way. And sometimes I would get too personally attached and then it affects me and bogs me down. And truth is, I have enough going on myself to deal with that. And I was relying on myself and own strengths to help others. And so both were those scriptures were just so important. Again, him speaking, I'm just edified what was taking place. Again, I knew things were moving and that healing, that miracle was coming. And so he prayed and my body just trembled and I shook and then stopped. And he said, I'm not going to stand you up and try to get you to walk here. He's like, when you apply these things truly, with all your mind and all your heart, you will be healed. And that's that. We just walked away. Just awesome word, dropped his mic and walked away. And so they wheeled me off and sat in the back for a minute and talked to a few folks and then left. And I was getting ready to make that terrible transition to the van. There's just two men. One was my father-in-law, the other was my great mentor. He wasn't there to help when I first got there, and he said, okay, how do I help? And I just said, just hold me, help me stand up. I can't really stand on my own, and just make sure I don't fall. And my father-in-law, who helped when I got there, had a death grip on me because he knew how much he needed to help get me up. And my mentor, my other pastor, he didn't touch me. He didn't help at all. And as I was speaking, just help me up, make sure I don't fall. As I was saying that, I was moving my feet from the pedals of the chair, and I noticed they were flat on the ground because before that they were curved because where they cut me, the veins, like I couldn't put my feet flat when I tried walking. It just caused so much pain and I just couldn't do it. And I noticed my feet were flat, and as I said, just help me make sure I don't fall. And I saw my feet flat and I said, or not. And so I started taking baby steps, and my father-in-law still with the death grip, going a little further. Then he kind of starts letting go, and then I'm still walking around. Everybody's kind of looking, and then I said, no, there's no way. I just had surgery yesterday.